So what we have that we are talking about is adjectives. So we're going to look at how we have some adjectives like annoyed, but then it can also be annoying. So why do we have that adjective, which annoying means like when you're kind of frustrated, you're a little bit angry about something. So you can see here, we've got Matt thought the online trumpet teacher. So remember we listened to a video last lesson about his lessons, his trumpet, his instrument lessons, using can, because he can play the trumpet. Okay, it means he knows how to do it. So in the first one, would you say Matt thought the online trumpet lesson was annoyed or was annoying? Yeah, exactly. Was annoying. He was doing lessons, yeah, for his trumpet, for his instrument. So the second one, Matt was annoyed because he could only play simple tunes. So they're both in the past because you've got that was. You could hear that he was annoyed, that the teacher was annoying. So what is the difference? Why do we say annoying or we say annoyed? Or it's the same with any other adjective. Why do we say
He plays AD is because it's past, and ENG is because he's doing.
It's a continuous?
Yeah.
But it's also past because was annoying.
Yeah.
So remember the verb before it, to be, was, that's also in the past.
Yeah.
They're both actually in the past. So they're both telling you how he felt in the past. So just because it has an ed, annoyed, doesn't mean it's the only one in the past. Because actually both are in the past. Because have a listen again. Matt thought the online trumpet teacher was annoying. You see, he thought, even that first part of the sentence tells you that that's what he was thinking in the past. He thought. It's an irregular verb. You see? Yes. But then the second sentence, Matt was annoyed because he could only play simple tunes. So when the action is you would say annoyed, like I am annoyed because it's raining so much today. So when you are talking about you as the subject, that's when you say the ed. I was annoyed, I was disappointed, I was exhausted at the end of my day, I was tired, I was devastated, I was so sad, I was devastated. So when you are the subject, you would say with the ed. But when you're talking about someone else, you would say she was annoying. Oh my God, that person was so annoying. Or, you know, my football coach is really annoying. He's really devastated right now because he lost a game. So when you're talking about another subject, he or she, you would say that she was annoying, devastating. She was, well, you could also say exhausted, but mostly when the subject is you would put the ed. So if you have a look, many adjectives for feelings. Remember we talked about these adjectives like happy, sad, depressed, lonely, tired. These are all adjectives. It's an action, but it's like a feeling action. And we have two forms. We can either put the ed or we can put the ing. So we use the adjectives ending in ed for the person who has the feeling. So as I said, when it's you that you feel that feeling, you would say, I am so exhausted today. I'm so tired. You could see it has the ed, exhausted, tired. But we use the adjective ending in the ing for the person, or maybe it's a situation that produces the feeling. So the trumpet teacher was annoying. You could say the loud crowd was annoying. If there's a big group of people, the loud crowd was annoying. Or the festival was really interesting. So when you're talking about another subject, the festival was interesting. You don't say the festival was interested. You say, I was interested in going to the festival. I was interested in learning English. But the English class is interesting. So can you see the difference when you put the ed or the ing to these adjective verbs? So let's have a look at some sentences. What music do you listen to if you feel, do you think you would say if you feel depressed or if you feel depressing?
Depressive.
Depressed? Ed? It has to be one. Depressed, ed.
Yes.
So when you're talking about, when you're saying to someone, do you feel tired? Do you feel exhausted? Do you feel depressed? You have to put the ed. Because it's only when I'm speaking about another subject, like the instrument, the day, the festival, the class, then I put the ing. But if I'm talking about myself, or asking you how you feel, do you feel depressed, then it's with the ed. So remember, the ed to these adjective feelings is when you're talking about yourself, or I'm asking you. If you feel depressed, you can talk to a psychologist. If you feel tired, you can take a nap. Yeah. Number 2, what do you think is the most something sport to watch?
No.
Which one?
Ed.
Ed. It's not talking about me. So look at the subject. What do you think is the most something sport to watch? It's about a sport. So we need to put ing. What do you think is the most exciting sport to watch? So again, we're talking about a sport. The sport is exciting. The piano lessons are exciting. The English lessons are exciting. So ing, when we talk about exciting, frustrating, interesting, when the subject is, like an instrument or a sport. Okay, what's the most something scenery you've ever seen? What's the most? Now, what's the subject? The scenery. That means the view. So what can we say? What's the most amazing? Yeah, exactly. What's the most amazing view you have ever seen? Good. Have you ever been disappointed? Have you ever been disappointed? Because I'm talking about you. So if the subject is me, I'm talking about myself or you. Have you ever been disappointed by a birthday present? So we need the ed, disappointed. Have you ever been disappointed? Good. Now you're getting them all correct. Which do you find more something? Clothes shopping or food shopping? So what's the subject? Shopping. So which do you find more? Tiring. So which one does it make you tired? Yeah, you're right. Which do you find more tiring? Well, it is asking about you, but the topic really is the shopping. The one before, which music do you listen to if you feel depressed? It's not talking about, it's talking about you feeling that action in number 1. But okay, we have Sandra. So hi, Sandra. Good, thank you. Yourself? Good. So we're just talking about adjective feelings. So when we have, how do we put either an ed or an ing? So I'll share my screen so you can see when we're talking about feelings. So we just said that when we're talking about ourselves or you, we put an ed. I feel depressed. I feel tired. I feel exhausted. I feel, yeah, surprised. I feel excited. But when it's about another subject, like the English lesson was interesting, the festival was interesting, the piano lesson was interesting, the day was disappointing, we put an ing. So number 6, what's the most something thing that's ever happened to you? Yeah, what's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you? Because the subject is the thing, the situation. What's been the most embarrassing thing? Number 4, are you something of heights? Are you frightened? Yeah, it's like saying, yeah, are you scared? Are you frightened of heights? Because it's asking about your feelings. Frightened. Yeah, frightened. Yeah. Do you usually feel very tired in the morning? Yeah, it's asking about your feelings. Do you usually feel very tired in the morning? What's the most something film you've ever seen? Do you want to have a go, Sandra? What's the most? Maybe.
What the most what's the most beautiful
BOR? Yes. Film you've ever seen. Yeah, so it's talking about the movie. So what's the most boring film that you've ever seen? So the film was boring, not you feeling boring, but the film was bored. Because you can say, I felt bored when I watched the movie. Do you ever get something by technology? So I'll let Sandra for the last one. Do you ever get
frustrated?
Yeah.
Do you ever get frustrated by
Yeah, frustrated. So you're feeling that feeling. Do you ever get frustrated by technology? Do you ever get frustrated by whatever situation? Good. So that's talking about adjectives and how we put the ed to that adjective or the ing. So now we are going to read, and we'll read together. So how long have you been learning English? Has anyone ever given you a useful tip which has helped you learn? We're going to read, it looks like someone's made a comment and then there's people that have responded. So let's have a look at the comment. It says, does anyone have any good tips for practicing English outside class? So I'll read it and then you can read with me. So I'm a B1 level. So if you want to read with me, I'm a B1 level. I think, I hope. Yeah. And I'm studying in Colombia. Colombia. So
I'm studying in Colombia?
yeah, so Nelson from Medellin, he said this comment. So let's have a look what people replied. I can see Sarah from Brazil. She said, one very easy thing you can do is to change the language to English on your phone, laptop, or tablet.
Is to change language to English. Laptop or tablet.
That way,
That way,
you're reading English every day
you're reading English every day.
and you learn a lot of vocabulary without noticing.
And you learn how to actually.
For example, the things you see on your screen.
For example, the tips say train.
I found it really helpful.
I found
Okay, so Mark from Switzerland, he gives us his tips and he says, my tip is to do things that you already like doing.
my tip is English,
But in English.
but
So for example,
to put that
if you're interested in a sport or in photography,
in
read about it in English. If you like the cinema, watch films in English with subtitles. I'm interested in jazz. So I read magazines and articles online in English. For me, it's better than reading books. Okay, Agnes from Hungary says, the thing that really helped me to improve my English was having an Australian boyfriend. He didn't speak any Hungarian, so we spoke English all the time. And I improved really quickly. So my tip is try to find an English-speaking boyfriend or girlfriend. Okay, Vasily from Russia, he says, I think that learning vocabulary is very important.
I think that is
So I got a vocabulary app for my phone.
now I got a vocabulary app.
It has a lot of useful words,
It has a lot of useful words.
all in categories,
All
but it also lets me add my own words and phrases too.
but it also lets me add that phrases too.
The best thing is
The best thing is
that I can test myself
that I can test myself
whenever I get a quiet moment,
when it
like on the bus,
like
and it just takes a couple of minutes.
just takes a couple of minutes.
Sandra from Italy, so Sandra like you, Sandra, she says, my tip is to learn to sing songs in English.
My tip is try to
First, I find the words online, and try to understand them. Then I go to YouTube
Then go to YouTube
and sing along with the singer
and sing along with the singer
and try to copy the way he or she sings.
and try to copy the way he or she sings.
Fantastic for your pronunciation.
Fantastic for your pronunciation.
Then, when I can do it well,
Then I can do it well.
I get a karaoke version of the song
I get a karaoke version
and I sing it.
and I sing it.
It's fun and my English has improved.
It's fun and it has improved.
Practice saying things in your head.
Practicing things in your head.
This is from Martha in Mexico. It could be anything.
It could be anything.
You could describe your job or your holiday plans,
You could describe it different.
or talk about yourself or your family, or what's happening in the news. Then when you really need to speak English, it's easier because you've done it in your head. I do this on the way to my English class every week. Okay, so we can see some adjectives here. We could see in the first one, we've got maybe we'll go to the second one, interested. Can you see how it says if you're interested in a sport? So that's an adjective verb, interested. I'm interested in jazz. Can we see how he said he's talking about his interest in that instrument? Number 3, she says, she doesn't really use any adjective. It's more quickly, yeah, she improved. Okay, number 4, important. Number 5, she says, not really. Number 6, you'll see, okay, so there's not a lot of adjectives, but you could see that if you want to add an adjective feeling when you're giving tips to someone about how they can learn English, you could say, I know it's really frustrating. Because remember, the situation is frustrating when you can't speak much English. Or I think like you told me you were feeling frustrated that you'll say something, but you feel people don't understand, and then you feel a bit embarrassed. Do you remember those adjective words that you used? So that's good adjective words. You could say, if you're interested, you could listen to music, you could watch movies with the subtitles. If you're tired, so you could, I'm just trying to use adjectives when we're talking about learning English. If you're tired, you could just, if you're too tired to read, then you could listen to an audio with, lots of vocabs, like what the guy said. He has an app for the vocab to help him with his vocab. So we could say, if you're too tired to read, and study grammar, then you can listen to podcasts or English lessons online, or just anything that has someone speaking. If you're frightened, we can try and use that adjective. If you're frightened to speak, because some people, they hesitate, they feel scared, they feel like shy, and they don't want to make a mistake. So you could say to someone to give advice, if you feel frightened to speak or scared to speak, then maybe practice with a friend, or maybe then do lots of exercises on your own, speak out loud to yourself. So we can use that adjective frightened as well. So that's just adjectives with the ed and the ind.